Hello! So we're gonna make another video. I'm just in the process of repairing the leather of this Porsche Cayenne. He had some leather damage, but for this week I actually have planned to make a video about a Ferrari Testarossa. So let's go. So first of all, when you come here, you see the huge wide back, and it is absolutely super mega wide, and also because it is very flat up here, and therefore it even looks even wider than it already is. And I really love the looks. And if you look at the back, they always have these fins here at the back. And this is basically the car where it all started. This is the first Testarossa. It's very dusty actually, but this is where it actually also, maybe even this one has also red hat. Let's see. This is where the name comes from, the red hat. So this is the first Testarossa, and this is the later one, based on the old one. So this car is from 1990, and in 1987 they introduced these mirrors, because the first one were actually mounted in the middle of basically the window up here. This was called the monodato car. So the monospecchio means the mirrors in the middle, and the monodato is basically the other wheels. We will blend in some pictures, the center lock wheels which had the earlier Testarossas. But this one is the later one from 1990 with the better looking mirrors and the other wheels as we have up here. So a very important design feature actually, and it was not started as design feature, as these very cool side plates here. And actually here at the back are the coolers, and because of regulations they were not allowed to make a very big hole here, and therefore they had to come up with something that you can't really stick your hand in because of safety reasons, and therefore they figured out, let's make this, and that became a really cool design feature for the Testarossa, but also for complete car culture, because everyone really loved them. There were a lot of tuning companies. They also made this for all kinds of cars, from Porsche 924 to BMW to Mercedes SEC. They all made it, and they really loved it. You see them quite often now still, because they become now very cool, these 90s and 80s tuning companies. And that's actually where it all started. And they did that because in the early ones, so the Boxster 365, the previous model of the Testarossa, also with the same Boxster engine, they had the coolers in the front of the car. And what happened is that actually all the lines had to go to the back, and therefore the cabin was becoming very, very hot. So they had to figure out something else, and therefore they put the coolers back there, that they don't have to put the lines to the back. And therefore you have also much more luggage space here in the front of the car compared with the previous model. So I'm going to show you how it actually looks like, and also the engine obviously. So we have here those two handles. This is for the front of the car, and this is for the engine bay. So let's check that out. And then we have this huge thing, and then we have a beautiful engine. So we have actually here a 3.9 liter 12 cylinder Boxster, flat 12 cylinder actually, but not everyone thinks it is a flat 12 because it's actually 180 degrees and not really like a real Boxster. But to me, I would say it is a Boxster. It is a flat 12 cylinder. It's really big, but also not hugely big, because it is quite compact, since the gearbox is actually mounted underneath the engine. First of all for space, but it also has a big downside, because normally with a Boxster engine you have the weight really down, so the engine is really in the bottom of the car. But in this case the engine is actually pretty high up, and therefore the weight is also a bit more higher, and for handling that's not really amazing. So that's the downside. The gearbox is underneath the engine. The later one, the TR, and yet the M as well, and a lot of people think there's basically the same car, but it is actually completely different. And also the engine design is therefore also different, because they actually mounted the engine way far down for better handling. So that's basically a bit of a downside of this car, but there's actually another race car. It is a really cool GT Cruiser, which we're going to find out in coming minutes how this actually drives. This car has 390 brake horsepower, and if you have an US spec car, you had a bit less brake horsepower, I believe 380 in total, probably because of some regulations they had in the US. But here in Europe, we all have 390 brake horsepower. And then we're going to the interior, which is also very interesting. So let's show you the luggage space we actually have in the front. And also very cool, we don't really have any door handle. And the door handle is actually mounted underneath here. Very cool design feature. It works very well. So now we have to have this handle, and then the front bonnet will open, and then we see the front luggage space, which is actually pretty big. Here you can fill up your brake fluid, and if you're going to come here in the front, we also have the wiper fluid here and some other fluids you can fill up here completely in the front. And down here we see the pop-up headlights, which we're going to show you in a minute. But the bonnet actually in the front trunk is actually pretty nice and pretty big. So this was actually a good design feature. And also you could put some luggage there, but you can also, when you go in to look at the interior, put some luggage here at the back behind the seats. We have these strap-ons which you can put in the luggage set of the Testarossa, and you can snap the luggage set with the belts, and then you can put some luggage up there as well. So you can have a very cool, nice holiday car. So when we look here in the interior, we have these beautiful looking seats. They sit pretty well, and very big headrests here. Looks very cool and very strange as well, but they sit pretty nice. And then we have the typical Ferrari handbrake. You have to put it up, but then you can't really get out that easy, and therefore you can just put it down and then put it up again and then away. A bit sometimes confusing, but it works perfectly. And then obviously here the beautiful manual gearbox with a nice clicking sound. Very cool 80 looking buttons, and not to forget a cassette. And yeah, the radio is actually hidden. I'm going to show you in a minute. But also what is hidden is this. It looks like it is actually an ashtray, but also the door handle as well, where you have to open the door. So yeah, and as you can see, it's very close to the ground, very difficult to get out, but who cares so long you're in the car, that's all that matters. So now it is time for a little drive. So first thing you have to look out for is the gearbox. We have actually a dog leg gearbox, so the first gear is in the back and the rear is where normally the first gear is. So that's something to look out for, changing gear. For the rest, the steering wheel is a bit in an angle, a bit strange, and also the pedals is a bit out of angle. You have to get used to it, that you sit a bit strange in the car. But for the rest, the noise is absolutely amazing. It has a very deep sound, not a very screamy one, but a very deep sound. And the second gear is then also on a different spot up there. And just told you, the radio is hidden around this one. However, nobody really needs a radio in this car. And the other one is, we have obviously in the Netherlands many stupid speed bumps, so we have to be careful. And then the other thing is there's a very big engine with a lot of oil, so it will take quite a while before this engine is really warm. So it takes quite a bit to heat up this engine. We can actually see here the temperature of the engine. And what was also surprising to me when I first drove this car is that the steering is actually pretty light. We actually do not have any power steering, and it drives really easy. Unless you are moving around or parking, then it is actually very heavy. But just driving, it is super light, and also because that's mainly that the engine is in the back and the front is not so much weight. So that's also mostly likely the reason why it is so light front. And then we have this typical interior. So we have the beige leather seats with the brown dashboard. And I personally think that's a super cool feature and design feature of the Testarossa. I really love that. And everything is leather. Very good quality, very nice, and smells also very leatherish, I would say. And here in the middle we actually have the mileage, the time, but also here we have how much fuel. The fuel gauge is in the middle, and the oil temperature is up there. The engine is here nearly 90 degrees, but there the oil is still not even 60, or not just 60, so it takes a lot more time for the oil to heat up compared with just the engine. So the 12-cylinder engine is actually very reliable. You don't have to worry about exploding engine or so. Only maintenance is always a bit an issue, because the timing belt has to be replaced every 5 years or so. But at least much better than in the past, because when the car was new they said you had to replace it every 2 years, but the quality of the belt really improved over the time, so now 5 years is more than enough. And the downside, the engine has to drop out of the car, so that's very expensive to do. Before we preserved that, the car like 2.5 years ago, it just had a timing belt service and some other little things, because you always find something. And yeah, you are easy at 10k in the service. So this Testarossa actually feels very GT Cruiser. It's not so light and nimble as a 355 or 348 small V8. This feels like, yeah, a bit heavy, but very fast, like a real GT car. And that's actually where Ferrari has meant to build it. It's not a race car. It looks like a race car, but it's not built to be it. And the sound is just amazing. So here in the middle console we have all these beautiful 80 looking switches from the air conditioning, and these are from the windows, mirrors. Very cool design in my opinion. And now after like a 30-minute drive, now finally the engine is actually now warm. It takes quite a long time for it to heat up. The engine also has a lot of torque. You really notice that from underneath. And also what actually very important to note is the view around you is very good. You see everything, everywhere you look, everything is good visible actually. So I believe this exhaust on this car is not completely stock, because very stock exhaust from these Testarossas, they don't make as much sound actually. So you see it quite a lot. Everyone puts another exhaust on it because, yeah, you just want to enjoy that engine a bit more than they thought from the factory. So that was our little drive. Something funny to see, if you look here, discussed earlier, Ferrari made a key to, yeah, you hit the knee the whole time, so they made this. Quite a good invention, right? So, let's get out. So, now it's time to start detailing this car and make it just as it was 2.5 years ago. And some detailing, some polishing, some bits and pieces we have to fix. But overall everything looks still perfect. So last time we did the complete engine with some dry ice cleaning, complete preservation on the car. Also the complete underbody, we actually put the original Ferrari wax back on, the very brownish wax. I will blend in some pictures from before and after that we did a few years ago. So guys, if you have any questions about this beautiful Testarossa, please leave it in the comments. Thank you for watching and I'll see you for the next video. Bye bye.